Alrighty, it's Wednesday, April 22nd, 4:24 p.m. I took ye old 2022 Corvette C8 convertible, hardtop convertible, to the emissions people. That went flawlessly. Wife and I picked up the car, took it out of the garage, drove it to lunch. That was all nice. Went to the emissions place. Bing bang bong. I had to wait maybe 3 minutes before I got into the little testing bay, and they did their thing and life was good, and so we drove back. And then on the way back I realized, well, actually while we were at lunch, I discovered my Chevrolet application was not connecting to the car. Usually when you connect that application, you can see like the miles and, the miles left on the tank and how many miles the car's been driven, a whole variety of things. You know, you could lock the car and unlock the car and things like that. And, all of a sudden it couldn't connect. So I'm like, okay, this is weird. Now, a lot of times that happens when the car has been in the garage, it hasn't been turned on for a while. Every year it's been, then once it comes out of the garage and sees daylight and I drive it for a minute, everything reconnects and life's good. Not so much this time. I got all the way home. I noticed that the front of this car, it can raise and lower like 1.5 inches by a press of a button. And in addition to that, you can actually memorize locations. So for instance, our driveway's a little bit high, a little bit of an angle. There's a railroad track right near the house that's a little low. The car goes, it's a low car. So it will remember, you can set memory and say, when you get to this location, if you're under 24 miles an hour, go ahead and lift up the front end. And so, you don't have to remember to do that every time. Well, I noticed it didn't do that when I got close to the train tracks. Again, it didn't do it when I got to the house. I had to manually lift the front up, all that kind of stuff. And so I was like, this is just too weird. And so I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna check the navigation. I got the house, connect the Wi-Fi, blah blah blah. Now I did let the Sirius expire just yesterday because I'm tired of Sirius jerking me around, and I thought, well, maybe I was getting some sort of data connectivity by having Sirius, because I think I have that in this truck. Anyway, turned out that really wasn't the case. I got it all connected to Wi-Fi. There were no updates to the car, the app updates, all that kind of crap. I punched in the navigation and said, "You are here." And it was like, where here was miles away. So I'm like, okay, the navigation doesn't work. So then I look up and I'm like, well, I have this little button that says OnStar and SOS, and press here to talk to an OnStar agent. No, I didn't press the SOS, but the other two buttons didn't work at all. They couldn't connect, they couldn't do anything. So next thing you know, I'm Googling it. Turns out that a lot of these GM vehicles, all of a sudden, these OnStar modules just quit working for no apparent reason. And people are like, my car is in its 4th year. All of a sudden, these folks were saying, no, my car, that's my truck that's 1.5 years old, or my 2026 Corvette. In other words, it's not even 1 year old. And their OnStar modules all of a sudden are just bellying up. And it's a hassle because it was going back to last year. And people were saying, well, yeah, this is crap because there's a huge waiting list. It's been months. So now to make matters worse, in order to use the OnStar thing, you get to pay, like in my case, I'm paying $37.99 a month, $38 a month for something that won't work. And everybody, you know, GM knows it won't work. It's not working for everybody, all this kind of crap. So it's like, all right. So then I get to call them and say, hey, how about I don't pay you while this thing just up and broke, because you guys haven't been doing that. So then I went online. So I called the OnStar people. They try to reset. Oh, it looks like there's a connectivity issue. It could be the OnStar module. You have to take the dealer, you know, and you can hear the undertone of this conversation is, Russ, you'll be paying money to fix this OnStar module that just decided to break, along with apparently thousands of other people's OnStar modules, all at the same time. And I'm like, yeah, that really shouldn't be a thing. Well, how much money? I Google it. Yeah, and it's like somewhere between $500 and $1,000 to replace a digital module that nobody seems to know why they're even breaking. OnStar and GM's like, we don't know, we can't do anything. So, you know, the good news is driving that Corvette is awesome. Awesome. It's like riding a tiger. I mean, you just, claws are in the ground. When you say go, it just goes. When you say stop, it just stops. When you take your foot off the gas, it starts to slow down because it's just, it's awesome. And of course the looks that you get are great and it drives great and all that. But to be fair, you know, when I got the car, there was a problem with the exhaust, covered under warranty, a unique problem. That the dealer guy goes, yeah, no, the mechanic says, I've never seen that before. It took us a while to figure it out. But one of the little valve things was not fully closing inside. And so that was a problem within the first month. Then, you know, I drove the car pretty hard. There were 2 or 3 days when I went to Southern Ohio and I just ran the piss out of the car. Hills, up and down, turns, because there's nobody in Southern Ohio on those roads. And it was summertime, it was July. And I think at one point I actually did get like a message that basically said, well, I know the tires were super hot. I don't know if the brakes were super hot. But the next year I went to take it in. The guy's like, you know, the car had like under 5,000 miles on it. He goes, Russ, he goes, I've seen cars that have had a track day, that have been track driven, that had, you know, or he goes, these brake pads are torched. He goes, I haven't seen brake pads like this unless somebody's actually been on a track. And I'm like, you know, I only drove it really hard one day, you know, 2 days. Other than that, it's been like highway miles, you know, kind of a thing. You know, I'm sure as hell not racing the thing. So then, ever since then, so last year I was like, so they replaced the brakes. This last year, so in year 3, I said, how do the brakes look? Oh, they look great. Well, the thing is, they're squeaking. And they've been squeaking ever since they replaced them. And so I'm like, check the brakes. And I still think that there's a vibration in the front driver's side wheel. The mechanic says he's not feeling it. I took him out. I was like, really? You know, no, you're not feeling, no, feels normal to me. I'm like, all right, fine. So then fast forward. Oh, and last year, my convertible top, it has these, not wings, but, oh, there's a name for them. Anyway, they flip out when the top goes up, they flip out. And then when the top comes down, they kind of land, they sort of land behind your head. Well, I had one of the activators on that mechanism broke. So, you know, it wouldn't retract except by manually. I had to go to a GM dealer. They had to zip tie it shut. So that was like an $800 replacement part that was, I think, just out of warranty because it'd been a little bit over 3 years. So, you know, the exhaust, the convertible top mechanism, I'm not really convinced that the brakes are right. The wheel vibration, and now apparently this OnStar Module is probably going to need to be replaced if they can't flash reprogram it somehow. Honestly, the car's got 15,000 miles and change, 15,500 miles. That's a lot to go wrong in 15,000 miles. Just saying.